Hello Group 201, this is weekly feedback video for the week of June 8th, and today I am going to review some key concepts from the worksheets that we had regarding sales tactics and techniques, as well as foreign words used in English. So first I'm going to talk about the sales sheet, or the sales worksheet. So particularly there are 12 common tricks used by stores, and I would like to talk about those a little more. So number one, a lot of stores will try to appeal to your five senses to tempt you to buy things. For example, you can taste food for free. Many stores will give you samples when there isn't a quarantine going on. So for that, then you'll be able to taste the food, and their hope is that you'll be more tempted to buy right then and there, to buy more. So that's good for the store. Also smell. Some stores will give you like perfume samples or something like that, also with the goal of getting you to buy then and to buy more. Also, they can put flowers or things that smell good. So a lot of the times we buy more based on smell. There was an experiment they did, and they talked about this in the worksheet, where an electronics store that was filled with the smell of apple pie sold more refrigerators than another store that had the same products but didn't have that smell. So sometimes the smell might actually cause you to buy things that have nothing to do with the smell itself. So in general, just be aware that many stores will try to tempt you to buy additional things based on your senses. Okay, point number two, or tactic number two, is background music. Some stores want you to spend a long time shopping there, because if you stay longer, you'll probably pass by more products and you'll want to buy more things from that store. So then, using that knowledge, they will play slow background music to make you relaxed and you want to spend more time shopping at that store. So that is an interesting thing to keep in mind as well, even though in my experience, some stores actually play faster music. So that seems to go against that message. But I think in general, that's most likely true. Point three, some stores will put a price on products at $4.99 instead of $5. So the idea is that they are psychologically tricking their customers to think that that item is for whatever currency it may be instead of 5, but really they only took 1 cent off. So that's just a quick trick with the prices that sometimes you'll see at a store, the 99 instead of the next whole number. Okay, next point would be the fitting rooms. So fitting rooms are where you try on clothes when you go shopping at a place that sells clothes. And this one, in that case, if you notice, a lot of the stores would put the fitting room at the back of the store. And that's on purpose, because as you go to the back of the store to enter the fitting room and try on whatever you're looking at, you'll almost certainly pass by more clothes and more products that they are selling there. And the idea is then that you'll be tempted to buy those as well. So everything is about getting you to spend as much time as possible in the store to go past as many products as possible so that you'll buy as much as possible. And that's good for the store, and that's what they want you to do. Okay? Another point would be sales and discounts. People like saving money like these tactics, sales and discounts. But if you think about it, in the first place, you were never required to buy the item. So no one was saying you have to buy this. You buy these things because you like them, or in some cases you might need them. Maybe it's like soap or some other kind of household necessity. But in most cases, you were not required in the first place. So that's why it's a bit illogical to say that you're saving money necessarily, since you weren't required in the first place. So that only applies if you were required to buy something. Moving on, displays. So stores spend a lot of time and money on beautiful window displays. And that's because as you're walking by, if they catch your attention, you're more likely to actually walk into the store, and everything that we've talking about would apply then. So anything to get you into the store and get you shopping is what they are trying to do. Next, the checkout counters. A lot of them will keep small items like chocolate bars, batteries, key rings, things like that near the checkout counter, because as you're waiting in line, you'll be tempted to buy these small things as well. And even though it's not a large expense, the more you spend in general is good for them. So even that is part of their overall sales strategy that you should be aware of. Okay, signs. Again, we kind of already talked about this point, using sales and discount, but sometimes they put those words in red because psychological data has proven that people respond more quickly to the color red. So if they put those messages in red, the idea is that you'll respond more quickly and you might impulsively buy something that you otherwise would not purchase. Okay? So moving on to point number 9, entrances. Many stores will feature large entrances because that will make the actual store itself seem larger. And the idea is that if it seems larger to you, they're more likely to have more things you'll want to go in to shop around. Okay, now, moving on to point 10, getting lost. If you've ever gotten lost in a large department store, just know that that was intentional. Sometimes these stores, oftentimes in fact, they are designed deliberately in such a way that it's going to get you lost. And that's good for them, because if you get lost, as you try to find the place that you actually wanted to go to, you're going to pass by, again, more products, more clothes, more goods, and that will further tempt you to buy them. So again, you're kind of noticing a trend here. It's always with the intent of keeping you in the store as long as possible and to go past as many things as possible so that you'll buy more. Also, double deals, that's another point. So many stores will put complementary goods next to each other, such as pasta and sauce, or cereal and milk, etc., etc., or at least near each other. That way, if you go to buy one, you'll say, oh, I need to buy the other one too, and boom, that's a double deal. So you're buying two things at the store instead of one. And finally, the location of items. So at stores, they have shelves, right? So if you notice, a lot of stores will place the most expensive items at eye level because those are the first ones you're going to see. So the cheaper items will be at the top and bottom, and the most expensive ones will be at eye level, because if they're there, when you reach for the first thing you see, it'll be the most expensive one, and again, that's good for them. So please just keep these tactics in mind the next time you go shopping, and maybe you'll notice a few being used. That being said, we're going to move on to the second worksheet, which was foreign words used in English. So there was a quiz at the beginning. All the answers for the quiz can be found on page 5 of the material that was in the guide. But I'm going to go over the answers in case you'd like to check yours. So for number 1, the answer was A, Germany and the Netherlands. And the question was asking, where did the English language originate? So the answer again is A, and this can all be found on page 5 in the reading. For number 2, approximately how many words are there in the English language? The answer should have been B, more than 1 million, since in the reading they state there are more than 2 million. So more than 1 million would have us covered, so that's why it's B. Number 3, what percentage of English words actually have their origin in a different language? The answer should have been C, 80%. And finally, number 4, how many languages is it estimated English has borrowed words from? In the reading, they gave us 350, so the closest answer to that would be 380, so that's why we go with B for number 4. Moving on, you had to fill in some words with the chart based on which language you think they originally came from, and then you can check your work later on what I believe is page 6 of the document. So I'm going to skip past that for now, and I'm going to move on to the spelling exercise. You had to look at 16 words, and you had to determine if they were spelled correctly or incorrectly, so that's what I'll talk about now. So, number 1, embarrass, that is actually spelled incorrectly, so we have to change it. We have to add a second R, so the correct spelling is E-M-B-A-R-R-A-S-S. Number 2, occasion, is also spelled incorrectly. We need to add a second C and remove one S. So we are left with O-C-C-A-S-I-O-N. Number 3 is correct, no changes there. Number 4, acquiesce. We have to add a C between the S and E at the end. So that would leave us with A-C-Q-U-I-E-S-C-E. Number 5, recommend. We have to simply remove one of the C's, and that leaves us with R-E-C-O-M-M-E-N-D. Number 6, responsible. We have to replace the A with an I, which leaves us with R-E-S-P-O-N-S-I-B-L-E. Number 7, necessary, is spelled correctly, no changes. Number 8, pronunciation should actually be pronunciation. So all we're doing is deleting the second O, which leaves us with P-R-O-N-U-N-C-I-A-T-I-O-N. Number 9, professional. We have to remove one of the F's and add a second S, which leaves us with P-R-O-F-E-S-S-I-O-N-A-L. Number 10, immediately. We have to add an E between the T and the L. So that would leave us with I-M-M-E-D-I-A-T-E-L-Y. Number 11, foreign is correct, no changes needed. Number 12, accessible. becomes accessible. So we have to change the A with an, or we have to change it out for an I. So the correct spelling is ACCESSIBLE. 13, aficionado, we have to simply remove one of the F's. So that will leave us with AFICIONADO. Number 14, anniversary. For this word, we have to change the E to an A, so that would leave us with ANNIVERSARY. Number 15, ingenious, we need to add an O. So the correct spelling is INGENIOUS. And finally, number 16, minuscule, is correct, so we don't have to make any changes to that. Now, finally, there are a couple more questions that you had to answer, again, based on the reading on page 5, so I'll talk about those. So they ask us, what explanation does the writer give for the prevalence of English words borrowed from French? And the answer, based directly on the reading, is the Norman invasion of 1066. That was a military occupation of France, and during that period, a lot of words from French were transferred over to the English language. And number 2, why does the writer think the English language uses words from Hindi or Urdu? Similarly, because when England was a colonial power in India, that period gave them a lot of opportunities to exchange cultures, and in this case, words. So during their colonial occupation of India, a lot of words from their primary languages at the time, Hindi and Urdu, were transferred over to English. So that's where those came from. And the third one is not covered very well in the reading, so we're going to leave that one out. And that being said, that'll do it for today's feedback video. Next week, I will see you to cover a couple more topics. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next time.